So welcome back. For who's the first lesson, welcome. For the others, welcome back, lesson number 2. Okay, so I start from the beginning. So just to recap the mainstream of Agorà Italian Academy for who was not on the other lesson. So the meaning of Agorà Italian Academy is a circular model with the 5 stages. So the mainstream is that students become trainers, then they practice as worker, and then as my colleagues, so Nida, Pacific, and the other, then they become a trainer and ambassador. So today we are going to introduce lesson number 2 for the reception front office course. Also a brief recap to our goals, which is to understand the difference between hotel establishment, that was in lesson number 1, understand the organization of the reception, the key for becoming an excellent receptionist, learn the operational tasks of the front office and back office work, and the rules and standards of working at the reception desk. Remember, as last time, to take notes of the topics, write down the information. If you have questions, we will then take some time at the end of the lesson for the questions. And at the end of the course, I send you the materials, the exercises. So please remember to complete your exercise not later than next Friday. Okay, so what are we going to see today? The meaning of ospitalità, hospitality, significato di ospitalità. Il cliente, the guest, and why we used to say that is ospite, not cliente. We are going to see the main types of hotel guest profile and needs. We are introducing the customer service guest management. And we are going to introduce the reception. So why the reception is the heart of the hotel, the main characteristics of the receptionist, and do and don'ts. Okay, hospitalità. So the word hospitality comes from the past. It comes from the Latin, which is hospitium, which referred to the relationship between host and a guest. But in the past, the meaning of hospitality, hospitium, was both guest and host. In the past, this meaning was the idea of a relationship between the guest and the host, because in ancient time it was not like now that we are used to the meaning of hospitality in the hotel world. It was like a duty. So the meaning of hospitality in the past was the meaning of providing food, provide a bed, and provide safety. The word hospitality on the English meaning was entered by the Old French, because in French is hospitalité, hospitalità in Italiano, during the Middle Age. So it's like also to share the meaning between hospital and hotel. So if you think about the term of hospitalità, is both hospital, ospedale, and like hotel. So the general idea of the hospitalità is to have care of someone. Okay, so both from coming on the past and now the concept, the base concept remains the same. The actual concept of hospitalità. Hospitalità is not a job like the others. You know that it's not like to work on a fabric, to work on industry. Hospitality job is to create an experience, to get people feel better. So they are relaxing, they're having a vacation, maybe they are working, but you make people feel better. You give a memory, okay? What's the meaning of hospitality in modern world? So hospitality is anticipating needs. So understand what the guest needs and trying to anticipate their needs. If the guest is needs to have relax, for example, okay, in simple meaning, we try to organize what feels the guests better. Making guests feel important, because one of the main pillar of hospitality is making guests feel important. Everybody of us wants to feel important. When we go to the hotel, we feel like we are at home. We want to feel like we are at home. We want to be recognized by staff, by people. Welcoming everyone without preference for gender, culture, religion. In these last years, we are more and more and more talking about inclusion. So in hospitality, one other thing that is important is not to distinguish between gender, between culture, between religion. Everyone needs to feel important. Smiling, even when you are tired, even when we are stressed, even when our boyfriend is angry with us, even when we have fever, we always must smile, even when we are tired. Never losing control. Never losing control, because in hospitality, you know, we are in contact with different kind of guests, colleague, manager, a lot of people. And so in sometimes it's possible we are in a stressful situation. We don't agree with our manager. We don't agree with our colleagues. So that's very important to never lose control. We don't agree with the guests, because the guests usually always have reason. It's not always, okay? But we must try not to lose control in front of the guests. Transmitting safety. Transmitting safety to the guests for every situation. Even when they feel worried about something, something doesn't go well, they're coming from a long journey, they've lost luggages in the airport. Okay, we have to transmit safety. Okay, don't worry, I'll manage, we'll manage, everything will be okay. And create a memory in their heart, because that's what remains to the guest is the memory of the heart. It's not the memory of if you were good in technology, writing email or something like that. It's the feeling they felt when they were there in the hotel. So that stays forever. Why the guest is coming back another time? Because they keep that feeling. It's like I have a friend there, no? I know that person. They're waiting for me. When I'll call again, they know me, okay? I'm not anyone. I'm not a guest. I'm not that. I'm that guest. Il cliente, the guest. I put this image just to make something funny. So the guest is our king. In hospitality, the guest is the person who pay our work, our job. So we must try to treat the guest like a king. We know that it's not always, as I told before, not always the guests have reason, but we must try to understand needs and try to let them think he has the reason, okay? Even when he's not the reason. So anyone who stays in accommodation facility should be referred as a guest. In Italy, we use often to say cliente. Cliente is when you go to have shopping to the supermarket, you are cliente. You are cliente when you buy something. But the guest is just not buying something, is looking for an experience. You welcome the people in the hotel. So this person is going to stay with you 1 night, 4 nights, 7 nights, is spending time with you, is not just buying something and going away. So it's just like when your mother, your father, your family, when you welcome them into your home, you're welcoming someone. So it's not just a cliente, customer. They are staying with you. So it's ospite. Always try to use ospite, not cliente. Often in hospitality is wrongly used cliente because we are very used to say cliente, il cliente, il nostro cliente. But ospite is completely different meaning. We host that person, okay? So the first profile of cliente ospite is individual guest. So the main characteristic of individual guest. Individual guest is looking for privacy and silence, because often individual guest is a people who is going to spend time working and coming back at the hotel for sleeping and having relax, or traveling alone. If you don't have a boyfriend or a wife or a husband, you could travel alone. That's also nice, no? Have you ever?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. Me, just one time. And I feel difficult when I've been having dinner. I was like, okay. But then after 1 or 2 days, I found a lady who was traveling alone. It was a like policeman. Okay. And so we talk each other. What do you do in life? Why are you here? So I found like a friend. But I think it was not that easy. But if you then try to relax and take your time, that's always a good idea. Individual guest is looking for workspace comfort because usually travels for work, so needs space for laptop, for working, so it's not a small table, to be comfort in working. Welcoming atmosphere, because as a guest, especially when you travel for work and you stay out all weeks for work, you like to be recognized, welcomed. Oh, bentornato, come sta? Come sta la sua famiglia? Come sta i suoi figli? It's like to have a friend, no? I go back there because I know I have someone who recognized me. When I was working on hotel, even if we had some guests who moved to other companies working much far from that hotel, they were booking the same on that hotel because he told me, I feel like I have someone waiting for me again here. I feel like I have a friend here. It's not like a cold atmosphere, okay? It's like to be in family. So the need to feel recognized, we have just told. Need good Wi-Fi connection, but who doesn't need good Wi-Fi connection today? Especially who is traveling alone, because You work, you enjoy watching a film or something like that. Services as pay TV and services like gym. Couple guests. So when you go traveling with your sister, your boyfriend, your husband, etc., etc. Looking for memorable experience, looking for relaxation, privacy and comfort, sometimes romantic settings. When you go on weekend for St. Valentine, when you go, when couples go having their honeymoon. So then they ask for romantic settings or special services for the honeymoon. Personalized recommendations, so like activities to do together in couple. In some location in Italy, they organize activities like cooking together, preparing pasta together or cioccolatini together. Special activity to do with girlfriend, boyfriend. Need to feel cared, but this is for every type of guest. Usually need to late checkout, especially during the weekend. When you are traveling for holiday, you may ask for late checkout because on Sunday you prefer to sleep a little bit more. And also connected to the late checkout, the luggage store for departure day. Usually when people stays on the weekend, they want to spend also the checkout day in the surrounding visiting, so they may ask for luggage store. The family, the characteristics of the family. Often stressed parents who needs to have relax. Family, it's beautiful, but when you have young kids, you could be a little bit stressed because kids crying, kids saying, mamma, mamma, mi compri, mamma, mamma, sono stanco, mamma, quando arriviamo? Extra requests like baby coat, infant food, etc. Animation for kids, because when family is traveling for leisure, they might ask for a babysitting animation. They want to leave their kids with someone else for a while. And restaurants with kids menu. You know, it's like in Italy, I see that often kids menu means pasta al pomodoro, cotoletta con patate fritte, and that's all. The group. You see in this picture, a young people group. So the groups usually have specific time for arrival and departure because they are traveling all together, so activities are organized together. Arrival all in the same time, departure all in the same time, even meals, or in the same times. Usually group doesn't have a lot of extra requests because they have a group program. So 7 on the morning breakfast, then at 8 out of the hotel, because at 9 we have a sightseeing tour booked. So they have a schedule. When groups are staying in the hotel, usually tour leader prefer to have a room not near to the group because the tour leader is someone who is working for the group, is not in vacation. So if it's possible, they would rather prefer to stay away from the group, especially if you are traveling with the school group, but also adults group. And usually, if having extra charges, they prefer to pay day by day. Usually, when you have groups on the hotel, both the hotel and the guests prefer to pay drinks and something like that day by day, so they don't forget to pay at the end. That's better. Okay, fidelization argument. Guest loyalty is no longer just a marketing goal, but it's a strategic asset in tourism. Building lasting relationships with guests means delivering quality, personalized experience, and meaningful interactions every touch point. Fidelization means to fidelize a guest. We were before speaking about to let them have a heart memory, to be recognized. Fidelization is when you do such activities to create a connection between hotel and the guest. So, like customized communication, post-stay communication, how was your journey, is a connection of loyalty. So some bonuses that the hotels offer to the guests returning, coming back every time. I choose your hotel. So fidelization means you choose my hotel and I give you bonuses, offers, upgrade, and something like that. Loyalty generates positive reviews and word of mouth recommendation. Even we have social, we have recensioni, okay. Word of mouth remains the best method of saying someone, I was feeling good in that hotel. Normally, every word of mouth recommendation, one person makes other 8-person recommendations. I've put here some example of fidelity programs, NAC Hotels and Hilton.com. So when I'm going to send you these slides, please try to go there and have a look. So you can understand what's the meaning for fidelization, what bonuses are offered from big chains hotel. Okay, so rules of guesting care. First rule is listening. Listening could be something that is obvious, but it's not. Learn to listen to the guest. Try to understand their needs. You see that we repeat the same concept. Try to understand their needs always. Their feeling, their expectations. When we go to a hotel, we have an expectations. We wrote their reviews, so we have some kind of expectation. Ask for feedback. Try to be in their clothes. Mettersi nei panni. If I was this guest, even if there is a difficult situation, try to listen before speaking. We usually don't understand how important it is to listen before speaking. We think that I already know. No, try to listen from the beginning to the end and then speaks at the end, because it's often the solution. In that guess word, you will find the solution. And all of us want to be listened. All of us needs to be listened. If I speak with some colleagues and I'm speaking with you and then you stop me because you think you understood, I don't feel very well, because I want to be listened from the beginning to the end, then speak. Try to keep eye contact. Make short pauses when you speak. And if it's not clear, repeat, like, let me make sure if I understand, even if you have understood, okay? It's some kind of caring of the guest. Let me understand. You are having hot in the room. So don't worry, I'll do something. We are going to fix the air conditioning. Have you had such experience? Someone of you had
Yes.
this experience?
Yes. But mine goes back to my last travel with my family, which was in December, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it was awful because the let's say receptionists who were working there, all of them didn't know what exactly active listening means. So we had a lot of problems with the heating, with the air
Mm-hmm.
conditioner system, and a lot of things. But no one were listening to us to understand the situation to solve it. And when we were just leaving the hotel, they asked us, "How was your stay?" Then when
Really,
we
you
were
are asking?
exactly. And the first point was that when receptionists change the shifts, this reception A, has to tell everything about the whole shift to the reception B. And they also have to keep some written records of the things, the most important things, so that everyone can see it and can
Yes, yes.
react to them. But they were not aware of the things that were happening during the morning. And it was a four-star hotel. It was a
Oh,
four-star hotel.
yeah,
They asked,
even four-star hotel. But that's not just to fix the problem. It's just to listen what the guest says, okay? Even if in that situation you are on the 15th of August, the air conditioning doesn't work. At the reception, you are not a technician, okay? So you can't fix immediately the air conditioning, but try to just to listen and understand and say, okay, I'll try to do something. Not, okay, I already know that. Go in your room. It's simple, but it makes the difference.
exactly.
Okay, empathy. That is an important meaning. As said before, try to wear their clothes. Try to think, what if I was in their place? Empathy is a very important concept in hospitality. When you work with people, empathy is very important. When arriving guests is often tired for hours of traveling, hot temperatures, kids crying, late trains, lost luggages, we think when we are at the reception, but what do you want? You are on vacation. Relax. Why you're coming in the hotel for checking in? I want to check in. Why the room is not ready? But maybe they had 10 hours journey. It's the 15th of August. It's 40 degrees. There is traffic. Kids are crying. So it's not so easy as we imagined it, even if we are on vacation. That's why I never go on vacation on the middle of August. When angry, try to think what you will do if you are on this place. You are on vacation and you don't want anything to ruin your relax. It's not feeling sorry. Empathy is not like continuous saying, oh, sorry, sorry, I'm very sorry. No, it's understanding the discomfort and create a connection. Like, thank you for letting me know. Let me help you. I'll immediately try to do something. Don't worry, we'll try to fix that for you. I'll try to think that for you. Okay, try to create a connection with the guests. That's the key. That's one of the important key. Communication. Dimmi Nada.
I have a very good example of empathy. Can I talk about it right now?
Sì,
If
sì,
you have
sì.
time. During our journey in December, we were on train and something happened to my sister. So we had a medical problem. And
Mhm,
although we didn't want to stay in Hranice, which is a very small town or village or something in
mhm,
Czech, but we stayed there. I booked, it was everything happened suddenly. I booked a hotel. It was a three-star hotel or two-star. I don't know. It was the only hotel inside the town.
mm.
And we were too. but they were very, very good. I cannot even talk about it. My sister was in the hospital and they were offering us a lot of things. I was just there to ask them to take care of my parents so that I can be in the hospital near my sister. They were preparing a lot of drinks for my sister. Even though they didn't have the room service, they were preparing food, taking it to my parents' room, and it was perfect. It was really perfect.
You deserve a good memory of that.
Yes, exactly. And they also were asking us, if you need any help inside the hospital, here is a very small town and we know everyone. You can just tell it to us, then we can just talk to the doctors and etc. It was very perfect.
Yeah, that's make the difference. So even if you don't offer a product, no, because they didn't give you something, but they gave you something for your heart.
Exactly.
Hey, I didn't create something with my hand, but I make you feel better, even if you were in a difficult situation. That might happen. Someone going to the hospital, broken legs or something like that, but that makes the difference.
Exactly, and we were not feeling any more alone. We were feeling,
Yeah.
okay, we have someone here who's helping us.
Especially if you are abroad. When something happens abroad, it's very difficult because you don't know how hospital works, how the papers to prepare, passport, transportation, everything. You are like in a panic, no? So even if someone makes you feel like, okay, we'll fix it, we'll help you, don't worry. You remember that. I think it's very important.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so communication, that is also obviously, but every communication, spoken or written with guests, should be respectful, clear, calm, slow. So don't go quick with the guests. Take your time to speak. Be clear. Don't try to put a lot of words which are not helpful. Not too long. If you have to communicate something, communicate that thing. Don't try to go around and around and around. So that is important to be clear. Confident, smiling, and positive. Always, we talked about that before. Try to smile and be positive. Even if you did a 12-hour shift, that might happen, but try to be always smiling. You never know the people on the other side, which problem they have. So don't just try to think to your problems, keep yours for a moment apart and try to be empathic. Problem solving. As I said before, you should not excuse. You should give solution. Try to think to the best solution. So problem solving could be to do an upgrade. I'm checking in on my room, the air conditioning is not working. If I have availability, I could give you a free upgrade. Priority for housekeeping. If I have availability, you're checking in at 7 a.m. because you had a night flight, you are tired. So if it's possible, okay, I will say to the housekeeper to do your rooms first. Clear explanation of timing. Your rooms will be ready in 1 hour. Don't try to say in 30 minutes if you already know it's 1 hour to clean that room. Okay, be clear. Don't say that it might be easier to say, no, 30 minutes. But if you say 30 minutes, for me, it's 30 minutes, it's not 1 hour. and clear solution. Why the reception is the heart of the hotel? The reception is the first image the guest sees. When they are checking in, you are the first person that they see and the first person which you are keeping in contact. And it's the center coordinating all departments. Everything like the heart, starting all from the heart on the body, in the human body, on the reception, everything starts from there. Communications with kitchen, with housekeeping, with restaurants, with animation, with management, everything starts from the reception. It's the constant reference point for any problem, because if the guest has some problems, where do they go? Not to the bar, not to the housekeeper, not to the chef, to the kitchen. They go to the reception. The reception is the official voice of the management, because the management is not always present on the hotel. And if there are some problems, they could say, please refer this to the guests if they don't have time. And the final farewell at the checkout is the first person they see and last person they see. So the reception is the memory maker department, because the first person is always you. The real role of the reception, so it's not just about welcoming. As I said before, it's a bridge between all the departments. And all the messages arrive to the reception. Dirty rooms, provide extra beds, there is a broken light bulb, there is AC problem, there are complaints from the guests. My key is not working. I lost my documents, etc., etc., etc. So everything goes to the reception. That's why receptionists are stressed. Okay, how quality is measured? Professional standards are evaluated based on waiting time. When you are having check-in, you don't want to wait hours and hours. You want a fast check-in, even if you are in holidays. You don't want to stay at the reception while you could go outside or on the swimming pool or sleeping or etc. Check-in speed and clarity of information. If the guest asking you for schedules, programs, maps, services, which kind of services does the resort have? If you are providing wristbands or keys for the bar or everything. Problem solving ability, because in the reception you are a problem solver. Smiling and stress management. We are always talking about this argument because they are the main arguments at the reception. Always try to smile. Language and communication skills. You should understand the guests and communicate with the guests. So just not speaking well English, French, German, something like that. Trying to understand who's the feeling. Professional gestures, key delivery, handling documents, the body, not like, okay, dritti. And aesthetic appearance and workstation order. I'm quite, how to say, I give much importance of this, because when the guests coming to the reception, you are seeing if there is paper, documents, if there is messy, okay? So the reception should be always in order. The first impression, hospitality studies that shows that guest forms an opinion in less than 7 seconds. So I don't think, it's the time you enter into the reception, into the hotel door. 7 seconds for the first impressions. So what's the guest memory keeping in then 7 seconds? It's not how experienced you are with the PMS technical skills. It's your smile, your uniform, your appearance, your posture, and your desk order in 7 seconds. That's what stays on the first impression. Okay, so we are going to the fundamentals of the receptionist. First, uniform and personal hygiene. That's very important. Uniforms gives you credibility. Uniforms is you are representing the brand of the hotel. So it must be clean and ironed, tidy, and if the badge is required, complete with the name of the badge. Not wrinkled with sweat odor. It's very, very important, especially if you go working on summer, okay? It's very important. And not dirty, not with macchie di sugo di pomodoro. If you have eaten spaghetti al pomodoro, go and clean your uniform. Main do and don'ts for hygiene. No hair falling on face. Good morning. Okay, I have short hair, so I can do that. No messy or unwashed hair. Make a ponytail. Clean hands and nails. Okay, no arcobaleno, not yellow, green, red, orange, simple color. Delicate fragrance, not too much strong fragrance. No strong body odor. Wash every day. In August, 2-3 times a day. That's very, very important. I remember when I go somewhere and I felt strong odors. It's not very, very nice, no? No unclean breath. So eat some caramelle. And no excessive makeup. So simple colors, simple makeup. Be tidy, ponytail, uniform, that's all. Posture, straight back. Okay, so some suggestion for the posture. If you have a seat at the reception when the guest is coming, stand up. Don't keep seated. It's not like you are at home, your mother. What do you want? So stand up and say, how can I help you? Don't, hello? No, no crossed arms, okay. How can I help you? So put the arms behind or hand in pockets. Prego? No. Leaning on the desk. Don't do stretching on the reception desk, okay? Sitting badly on a tall stool, okay? Better if you stand up when the guest is coming. Some hotels decide to not have chairs. In my opinion, that's not nice because you spend more than 8 hours working, so you need to have a seat. But used to stand up when the guest is coming. Playing with pens, folders, or badge. Hello. Something like that. Smile, smile. When I was studying at the Scuola Alberghiera, so tourism school, professor told, put a paper in front of your screen, even if you are at telephone, and draw a smile and try to have a look sometimes at that paper. So smile is very important. A simple smile, not like 2 days ago, I was at the spa. I found a girl who was saying, hello, how can I help you? Do you want to book a message? Do you want to book a restaurant? Okay, have a nice day. Don't be a false smile, simple smile. Hello, how can I help you? Okay, simple, not nervous. Okay, try to stay relaxed. The voice, as said before, clear voice, slow, and not too loud. Hello. Stay calm. Okay, not too low. I can understand. Hello, how can I help you? Cosa? Okay, simple. Stay easy. Reassuring and always available. Okay, try to have a melodic voice. Okay, not false, but your voice simply. Not aggressive, even if the reason is yours. Not robotic, not annoying. Verbal and non-verbal language. Phrases short, positive, clear, and proactive. Proactive, it's very important. Don't wait that someone comes to you. Always try to think, what can I do? If I'm calling to book, don't say, okay, send an email, I'll reply. No, try to say, I take note. What's the arrival date? How many person? Can you give me your email? I'll send you a proposal. Be proactive. And pay attention to eye contact, open hand gesture. So not crossed arms. Smile, body facing the guest. Don't talk with me and stay like that. It's not nice. It's not educated. Professional work. We are not having a sfilata. We are not models. And we don't have to work like, okay, professional. And don't say phrases like, I don't know, it's not our fault, it's not my job, you should ask to my colleague, come back later, maybe it's my colleague, come back later. Okay, I hate these phrases. I've heard too much times on the hotel. Main do and don'ts. Yes to desk order. If you have maps, notes, laptop, everything should be in order. Remember that the guest sees if it's in order. Smile, name badge, PMS, so the program must be open and active. Reservation list checked. When we will see next time all the tasks of the reception, this is very important. Reservation has to be already checked when you checked in the guests. Not earphones. Don't stay with your phone. Hello, how can I help you? No smartphone. No chewing gum. Normal, no? It's respectful. Talking to colleagues while ignoring guests. I hate these things. When I go to some supermarket or shops, sometimes I see colleagues speaking. I'm there waiting. Buongiorno. Then I start saying, buongiorno again. Are you hearing me? I'm here, okay? Sitting unprofessionally. Annoyed expressions. Okay. Commenting with colleagues in front of the guests. Don't comment other guests or other colleagues. Or sunglasses worn inside. But that's simple, basic rules. Okay. So for today, we are at the end of the lesson. I want you to ask if you have questions about what we saw today.
Thank you so much. Actually, it was a very, very awesome lesson. I just wanted to say that out of the experience I've had, like going to hotels, I always leave a review after, like, my review is actually based on the reception most cases. If the moment I enter and the receptionists are very nice, I give a good review. And when I'm leaving and they're very nice, I would definitely forget about the bad experience inside the hotel and just give a very good review. It's just
Yeah.
all about the reception desk. Thank you very much.
Grazie. Me, I've learned in these years to make a review if the experience was good. If the experience is good, normal, I don't feel like I need to put a review. If the experience is very good, but not for the service, for the people, that's what remains, no? If Neda is the reception and Neda was smiling, speaking, resolving problems, I remember that person, okay? And so I left a review when it's very good and when it's bad. I've learned to leave a review because you deserve that. You must learn from the review. Okay, I think that a manager should read the review and reflect what's not working. And it's useful for other guests.